kuandika kero zao, kwa sababu najua tunapokuja watu wanakuja na mabango mbio mbio, mnakwenda kuyakusanya na kuwanyuka watu kuwapeleka mnakokujua nyie, ili wasiseme yanayowasibu. Naomba kero za wananchi zikashughulikiwe.
Nukuu ya Rais Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu Hassan.
In Capital News tonight, about 472 residents have become homeless after River Bulumi flooded into Kilimanjaro village in Vamera district, Murugu region. Member of Parliament have called for establishment of a monitoring system on executives and contractors so as to complete water projects on schedule. And in sports, Iyanga Sports Club's Twisila Kisinda has recovered from an army injury and is ready for the upcoming mainland Premier League clash against Simba Sports Club. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Nasma Mwambe. Let's get started with the national news. About 472 residents from Kilimanjaro village in Vamera district, Murugu region have become homeless after 65 houses were destroyed by water that had flooded from Bulumi River and entered into Mtoni suburb. The district commissioner of Vamera, Albinas Mgonya, has visited the area where he also warned against human activities near the river.
Following the ongoing rains, residents have been affected since the river overflew, leaving houses in floods, where 66 houses and farms were swept away by water. The government should intervene in this matter. It is important for those whose houses were swept away to be given back their homes, because in this country we have enough construction materials like sand and timber from our own natural resources, with enough manpower from the military force to handle the task and give back shelter to those who were affected, instead of spending a lot of money in building riverbanks. It is not allowed for people to conduct any kind of activities at the river before I come back with a report from experts. It is also important to take precautions. We cannot wait for disasters to happen and then measures to be addressed. Precautions are very important, and they begin with residents themselves. You have to know that disaster management committees are legally recognized by the government, and decisions made by them are also legally recognized.
Members of Parliament have called on the Minister of Water, Juma Aweso, to ensure establishment of a monitoring system on executives in the ministry and contractors so that the water projects being implemented in various parts of the country are completed on schedule. The Member of Parliament gave the advice in Parliament Dodoma when contributing to the Ministry of Water's budget estimate for the year 2021 and 2022.
The ones in charge have no budget of replacing the infrastructures. Before the accident, 1 million shillings were collected. Honorable Aweso, you have the task to ensure that these people knows what they are doing. How I wish Duwasa was run like TANROADS. If possible, they should be given target. Without having targets in place, then it will be impossible to achieve goals. By March 2021, feasibility studies were completed for the project of taking water from Lake Victoria. The project will benefit over 2 million residents in 300 villages.
President Samia Suluhu Hassan is expected on Friday at 2 p.m. to address the elderly at Mlimani City, Dar es Salaam. Addressing the press, the Regional Commissioner of Dar es Salaam, Abubakar Kunenge, said that preparations on the meeting have been completed.
Kumekuwa na utaratibu maalum ambao tumetumia kuweza kupata wawakilishi, kwa sababu tunafahamu katika mkoa wetu wazee ni wengi, lakini kulingana na nafasi iliyopatikana ukumbi ule unatosha kuweza kuhudumia jumla ya wahusika au waalikwa.
Hundreds of women from Nangwa village in Hanang district, Manyara region, have protested against brutal killings of women following the recent murder of Lydia Geje, a resident from the village who was killed by her lover, Norbert Thomas, in his home. The protesting women were calling on the government to investigate the incident, which have caused fear amongst residents in the village.
We don't get any help. We cry every day and we're suffering. This is why we've gathered here today looking for a solution. The government must see how much we're suffering. We're asking for help. There is no justice. The culprit is taken away, but later money changes hands and is freed.
The former lawyer of Independent Power Tanzania Limited, IPTL, Joseph Makandege, has withdrawn his request to hold talks aimed at ending the case against him. More on the report.
Developments come after 45 days were issued by Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court against the accused, ended without him meeting or holding discussions with the Director of Public Prosecution on the economic sabotage case against him and two other co-accused, Habinda Seth and James Ruge Malira. The court on the 25th February this year directed that talks on agreeing to the charges submitted the DPP against Seth and Makandege be held within 30 days, and on April 8th the court added another 15 days to ensure the talks are held, but they have failed to materialize. Accused Ruge Malira's advocate John Chuma requested the court to cancel the charges and to free them, as it is now 4 years, but investigations on the case have not been completed. The case was adjourned until May 20th, 2021, when it comes up for mention.
More than 12,000 residents from 4 villages in Malindi Ward, Lushoto district, have urged the government to speed up rehabilitation of the bridge connecting the villages due to floods caused by ongoing rains, which has made it difficult to access various essential services.
I saved a child who was following his shoes down the river. We shall not stop asking for construction of a bridge, not only for the safety of pupils, but even adults, because many people depend on the bridge to cross over to the other side of the river. What is needed is expansion of caravats, because in heavy rain seasons, the current caravats are overloaded, causing the bridge to become impassable. We have already received complaints from leaders in the area, so we are working on the matter.
The Meat Registration Board has said it will collaborate with investors and meat processing industries in all procedures, such as accessing permits, and create a conducive environment that will facilitate their businesses and get reliable markets in and out of the country.
You can see the opportunity in meat sector. One, that investors should join hands with those already in business.
Mfugo ambapo amelishwa vizuri.
We want livestock that is well fed and is not old, because aged livestock, its meat is hard.
Uchinjwa hapa.
And that is the end of the national news. International news comes next after the break. And in international news, Ethiopia's federal government has repressed the head of interim administration of Tigray, a region racked by more than 6 months of catastrophic conflict. More on the report.
Ethiopia's federal government has replaced the head of interim administration of Tigray, a region racked by more than 6 months of catastrophic conflict. Bulumi had held the position since November, shortly after Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed announced a military campaign against the Tigray People's Liberation Front, the northern region's ruling party that had dominated national politics for decades. Mulu was replaced by Abraham Belay, who had been serving as Minister of Innovation and Technology in the federal government. After federal troops took the regional capital, Mekelle, in November, Mulu set about trying to establish an interim government, even as fighting raged elsewhere in the region.
The government of Uganda has announced new procedures to be used by foreigners entering the country, being efforts taken against the spread of the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic. The Ministry of Health has warned the second coronavirus wave might be worse than the first pandemic. Any traveler from this country, whether a guest or a foreigner, must do a corona test at borders areas, including Entebbe Airport, before being allowed to enter the country. The Malawian government has ordered thousands of long-integrated refugees to return to its sole but badly overcrowded refugee camp in controversial move that may have vowed to resist. The UN estimates there are around 2,000 refugees residing outside camp at Zaleka, about 40 kilometers north of the capital of Lilongwe. Many have lived there for years, setting up businesses in the town or marrying Malawians and having children with them, but the government urges that they pose a potential danger to national security by living among locals. And that is the end of international news. Business comes next after the break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and now in business. A day after President Samia Suluhu Hassan and her Kenyan counterpart Uhuru Kenyatta assured of creating a conducive business and investment climate in both countries, some stakeholders have said that they're optimistic on increase in production of good quality products that will get reliable markets.
Sasa tukio hili la leo la kuja wakati ambapo tuna mabadiliko.
This incident happened when we have a new leadership. The main purpose is to see industries performing and the businesses are running smoothly.
Kwamba viwanda vinafanya vizuri.
Serikali imeweza kushirikiana na sisi na kutuwezesha.
We thank the government for working hand in hand with us by providing standards and making sure we reach them for us to be able to produce.
TBS na utaratibu wa kudhibitisha ubora.
TBS is tasked with inspecting and verifying the quality of imported products to ensure they meet quality standards, and if not, then they will conduct market inspections. The number of coffee farmers in Romba District, Kilimanjaro region has dropped from 35,000 to 10,000, a situation caused by many of them being unable to afford input costs.
Kwa upande wa zao la kahawa kwenye uzalishaji tuna wakulima tulikuwa na wakulima 35.
In terms of coffee crop, we had 380,000 farmers. Due to the challenges, there are 10,000 farmers left. And in the area we had 15 hectares reduced, now we have 9,000 hectares. For those who replaced modern seedlings have been able to benefit.
Kwa kweli mimi nimefarijika sana kuona kwamba matokeo yetu ya utafiti yanapokelewa vyema na wakulima katika wilaya hii ya Rombo.
I'm very relieved to see that our research results have been well received by farmers. Our new varieties are thriving, and many farmers have started using new varieties of coffee, and the productivity is higher compared to the old seedlings. Serengeti Breweries Limited Company has continued to sponsor training of 70 students taking agriculture and livestock keeping studies from Igabiro in Kagera region so as to increase the number of extension officers who will support barley, maize and millet farmers, increase production of the raw materials needed for beer production.
We are particularly excited about this scholarship program, and we believe it will go a long way in delivering a bright future for all of you and for the rest of the 71 that I've just talked about. And through the program, we hope that you will turn out as experts in the agricultural field.
Pia tunawapongeza Serengeti kwa kujitoa kuunga juhudi za serikali.
We are commending Serengeti for supporting the government in moves of having an industrial economy by increasing the number of experts in agriculture. We are all witnesses that all the raw materials needed in industries are from agriculture.
Nilipopata huu msaada na naahidi kwamba kuwa ambassador mzuri wa
I promise to be a great ambassador to Serengeti. As my dreams are about to come true, I will help farmers just like how you helped me. And that's it for business news. Sports comes next after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Lynn.
Welcome back, and now in sports. Yanga Sports Club midfielder Mukoko Tonombe has revealed that Twisila Kisinda has recovered from an arm injury and is ready for the upcoming Simba Sports Club Mainland Premier League clash. Here's more.
On May 8th for the Kariakoo Derby at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, and Mukoko has now stated his compatriot is ready for the game. Kisinda was the outstanding player for Yanga in the first round encounter, and his maneuvers resulted in a penalty that gave Yanga the opener in the first half. Mukoko added the game on Saturday will be won by a team whose players will be able to play under pressure. He said he's not worried since his teammates can play under such conditions.
Kakamega Homeboys have vowed to petition World Governing Body FIFA to take action against Tanzania club Biashara United after they hired the services of coach Patrick Odhiambo without their consent. Here are more details.
The former Gor Mahia assistant coach was unveiled by the Mainland Premier League side on Tuesday as a replacement of another Kenyan coach, Francis Baraza, who left the club a couple of weeks ago to join Kagera Sugar. The decision by Odhiambo has irked Homeboys chairman Cleophas Shimanyula, who has said they will do everything possible to have the contract with Biashara terminated since he's still under contract with them. Shimanyula has further hit out at Odhiambo for leaving Homeboys without even saying a word to the team, which helped when he had struggled without salary while at Gor Mahia.
The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has announced the new international calendar for the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifying matches. Here's more.
Countries were meant to commence their race to Qatar in June 2021, albeit the continent's football ruling body shifted its citing current challenges caused by the COVID-19 pandemic as the reason. CAF, in a statement released on Thursday, disclosed the World Cup qualification games will begin in September 2021. The statement says the qualifiers will now take place in the existing windows of September, October and November 2021 and March 2022.
UEFA has no plans to shift the venue of the Champions League final from Istanbul, which is to be contested by 2 English clubs, despite Turkey currently undergoing lockdown. Here are more details.
4,000 supporters from Manchester City and Chelsea are expected to be offered tickets for the showpiece event on 29th of May. Questions remain, however, over whether the UK government will allow travel to that event, with a list of approved destinations due to be announced tomorrow. Speculation had suggested that the final could be moved to Wembley to limit the COVID risk for supporters, but there is no plan for such a move, with Wembley hosting the playoff finals on that weekend. Relocation would also pose a problem for officials and media wanting to travel into the UK, who may themselves have to quarantine.
Dortmund have lowered their asking price for Jadon Sancho to around £78 million, with England winger being allowed to explore his options under certain conditions. Here's the story.
The 21-year-old, who has seen many of his suitors cool the interest, is considering the next step in his career, and he would ideally not like a transfer saga dragged out over the whole summer as it was last year. Indeed, Sancho isn't generating the same level of interest as his teammate Erling Haaland, and although the German club are hoping to retain both players, a failure to qualify for the Champions League could force their hand. Dortmund have previously been adamant that Sancho would not be sold, although the club's sporting director Michael Zorc revealed recently that a gentleman's agreement was in place to allow the winger to move if certain conditions were met.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. Thank you for watching and good night.
Away first time, good start from Bolt.